is live. Helps if I turn my microphone on. Hello, hello. It's time. It's time for more Metroid Other Dumpster Fire. I mostly mean that. I'll talk more about my thoughts on it, obviously, whenever I finish this. I don't know how long this game is, but it won't be tonight, regardless. But yeah, first stream of it last time on Monday was not great. I've thought about it a bit since then and have some more refined thoughts on why, but you know, I'm not gonna let that hold me down. I'm gonna still take the game for what it is. I'm gonna hope it gets better, and I'm gonna keep playing it. So, let me just open my beer here. I've already had most of one beer before starting the stream. Beer and peanut butter and jelly is the dinner of champions today. Also, you can see that I should put some text on here. Do I have the bottom text? What's this say? That says Final Fantasy X. Let's change this. Metroid Other M. Sure. It's probably not really centered, but we'll go with it. Looks good enough. So yeah, I'm using the widescreen layout today, since it's letterboxed otherwise. Hopefully that'll make it better watching than last time. But let's jump in and see where we left off. So we left off Sector 3, got 20 missiles, a couple E-tanks, about 3 hours. Start game. Let's jump in. Basically, I was gonna give us a recap. After meeting up with Anthony and the others at the exam center, Samus discovers a Zabizian with cyborg characteristics. The team then learns about the Federation's biological weapon development program and the person in charge of it, Madeline Bergman. Shortly thereafter, a violent unidentified creature attacks. Having been saved from certain death by a blast from Anthony's plasma gun, Samus regroups with the soldiers who have found Lyle's corpse. Afterwards, Samus finds the cast-off skin of the small creature she had seen earlier. Samus receives a new order from Adam to follow the wounded creature and investigate Sector 3. Okay. Can I just say that I can't change anything without messing this up. I was gonna zoom in. I still can. Not gonna worry about it. The G's in that text. The text in general looks terrible. Like, shortly thereafter, the H and the O are like basically touching. The G in investigate on the bottom line, the G is huge. Like, this font is terrible. That's all. Madeline, like, look at the word Madeline. The A and D are really close together. The D and E are really far apart. Like, the kerning on the font is terrible. The size of the font is terrible. Bergman, like the M and the A looks like it goes lower than the M and the N. So the text has like a wavy look to it. I know it's a weird thing to like care about, but I guess it's fitting for the rest of, considering the rest of the game. Alright, so where are we? Where are we going? I guess we're going this way. See, remember the controls. Okay, it lets me charge up the bombs, but yeah, obviously Power bombs are not authorized. Oh boy, it's hot. Is hot the way I'm supposed to go? Did I already go this way? I think I did, right? There was something up here, a missile. Yeah, I got that already, okay. This map is rotated. The other map I was on was rotated like 90 degrees when I was complaining about it. This one's rotated 180 degrees. I face left and the map is actually right. Alright, let's go through the hot room. Great. We're moving in multiple dimensions with a D-pad. While the camera is shifting. There's a locked door. And there's that thing that it attacked. But jump. I don't know how I didn't make it there. Wish I had any idea what this room looked like. Lava monster in Super Mario World. Hey Anatoly, how's it going? Why am I not firing missiles at this? Working late? Ah. That's unfortunate. I'm thankfully under no obligation to work late for a while because... I might have said this in my last stream, but on Monday of this week I put in my 2 weeks notice at my current job, so this week is all offboarding stuff. So my voice is kind of hoarse right now because I've been talking at people for most of the last couple days, trying to train them on stuff and tell them things that I know. And kind of excited about the whole thing, kind of nervous about the whole thing. Typical job stuff. Just did all that a few months ago, I see.
Looks like the normal beam won't have any impact on the enemies around here. Samus, use your ice beam.
I have no health, and now you're telling me you're gonna allow me to use Ice Beam? That's so nice of you for authorizing me to use that.
Samus, what's going on? Respond! Respond!
Well, that's silly. Hello, Purple Mario. Drop me back here with the same amount of health, too. Part of me would almost prefer just going back to the save point. I have issues sometimes with these rooms with, like, perspective. Like, trying to dodge. I feel like the timing on it to get the charge shot is... I don't want to say it's tight, but, like... You can mess it up. And, some of these angles, it's very awkward.
Looks like the normal beam won't have any impact on the enemies around here. Samus, use your ice beam.
That enemy is on top of me. Yep, great. I can't see. Nope, that didn't dodge.
Samus, what's going on? Respond!
She doesn't forget. So the story is that you're entering a distress call on this ship, and there's a Galactic Federation ship with a military unit already here, and it includes Adam, which is the guy that Samus knows in the past. If you played Metroid Fusion, you know who Adam is, to some extent. That Adam. He's commanding the unit, and while you're here, you're basically working for the Galactic Federation, or like with them, but because it's a military operation, you're not authorized to use like half of your equipment. So I have power bombs, for example, but I'm not authorized to use them. Same with ice beam, same with other stuff. It's really not like a good rationale. I play Metroid because I want to be like a cool bounty hunter solo exploring random worlds, and instead you're like working with these military dudes on this bland spaceship, not allowed to use your cool stuff. But, like, this part of the game is okay. The controls in this game are awful. It's one of my bigger complaints about it. But, like, the combat is relatively fun. Except, it can be frustrating to tell, like, why stuff doesn't work sometimes. In cases like this, where, like, it keeps loading me at the start of this room with, like, no health.
Looks like the normal beam won't have any impact on the enemies around here. Samus, use your ice beam.
Oh, that didn't work. Because... So, the controls in this game. You hold the controller like this most of the time when you're in this 2D mode. Right? D-pad. Despite the fact that you're moving in 3Ds, you're using a D-pad. No joystick. No joystick accessory. Jump and shoot are 1 and 2 over here. I know it's a little washed out in the camera. I can maybe move it closer. So you hold it like this. D-pad 1 and 2. To go first person, you point it at the screen, and now you hold B to aim around and A to shoot, basically. And then, if you're out of missiles, or when you're really low on health, you can hold the controller upright and press and hold A to get your missiles and a little bit of health back. So you're constantly, like, readjusting your grip on the controller, and it's really weird. And you can only shoot missiles in first person, which makes fights like this annoying because, like, I kind of wanted to use missiles in these guys, but... And then there's like a dodge mechanic. If you move and you try to move it like right before you get hit, you can dodge. And if you try to do it, you shoot and dodge at the same time, you get like a free charge shot. So that's kind of what I'm doing for this fight. But sometimes like that, it just like, doesn't work. And I'm assuming it's just like my timing's off, but there's no visual indicator beyond, oh, things are close. If that hits me, okay, it didn't. And now, like, I've got this text over the screen while I'm in the middle of a fire fight. What? It's taking way too long? Give me help, give me help. Yeah. Yeah, parts of this are fun. It's not all bad. It's just kind of a dumpster fire. But it's like a fun dumpster fire, a fun-ish dumpster fire at times. It's also like this a lot. It's a lot of hallways. You're on a spaceship. I don't know why this spaceship has lava and like flame vents in it. But the setting is both kind of bland and kind of nonsensical. I mean, the idea is that they're collecting creatures from all over the galaxy or something to try to make these bioweapons with. What I found out last time. I don't know if that's the whole story, but that's at least part of the story. And presumably these environments exist so that way the things that they're trying to, the creatures they're trying to use for the bioweapons are able to survive here or whatever. I'm guessing that's part of the rationale for that. But I feel like if they had just used controls more similar to the ones in Prime, that this would be a lot more fun, though. I don't know, though. Did this come out before or after Prime 3? I wonder. It had to have been after, right? If it were before, then maybe it would make sense why the controls kind of suck. But I think this had to be after Prime 3. Super missile door at the top. Well, that's okay. I'm not authorized to use super missiles, so we'll just leave it. Oh, it's a hot room down here. What? I don't have health for a hot room. I guess I can recover it, so... I guess I can have health for a hot room. I don't know what that is. Like there was a door up here. There we go. I didn't realize that these were things I could grab. Also, enemies don't drop anything in this game. So, like, you don't get health or ammo from fighting enemies. The ammo you can kind of just recover whenever, but health it only lets you recover when you're, like, really low. A ton of items that I've missed, it looks like. Those glowing blue dots on the map are items, but I don't think I can... Can I lava dive for whatever's over here? How far does this lava go? No. No, I cannot. What is this? Lava Mudman. I guess these lava mudmen can apparently... Hello? Jump! Shoot fireballs. I don't know where that one went. That one just went in a weird direction. I am so dead. Oh, it's a grapple thing. Samus is not great at ledge grabbing, despite ledge grabbing being, like, fairly important. There have been a number of times I've died or taken a ton of damage because she has not grabbed the ledge that I expected her to. And usually it's, like, probably my own fault. But... For some reason I have to make that thing not on fire before I can shoot missiles at it. Oh, that was actually combat and not just a cutscene. This thing's like a battle bot. Multiple blue sparkly things. There's a ledge up there. But I can't jump quite high enough. Can I not use that computer? Okay. Missile tank, +1 missiles. Why can I not wall jump off this? Is there anything else I can see to get into that? I'm not seeing anything. But this definitely looks like a thing. Alright, where's Error? I found his volcano. What is a volcano but a pyramid with a hole in the top?
Sequence complete. Process successful.
This game is also very linear, which, like, linearity in and of itself doesn't bother me, but it's kind of like a bland, you're literally just in a hallway kind of linear, which is kind of weird for a Metroid game. Like I said, kind of the on-chip environment thing, not have a ton of diversity, and when it does, it doesn't really make sense. Sure. Holy Ash. That's the right expression for this game. Just that face the whole time. This is a video game that exists. Alright, before I do anything, let's go back and heal up again. Data face recording.
Sequence complete. Process successful.
Could be playing FF13 again. I could be playing a lot of things that aren't this. Really what I want to be playing is SMT5, because I think I'm at the second boss. I think I got to the second boss last night, but I've not tried it yet. Okay, that was a fall. But there was... It looked like there was an item there. There it is. Energy part. 3 out of 4. I could also be playing Aiden Chronicles again. I have route ideas to test. I tested a couple of them, and they, well, I don't know. I tested a couple of my initial ideas yesterday, and they were not... The immediate success was very poor, but then I had a couple more ideas for how to work around it, like the stealth potions. Easier way to get cloth armor? It's possible. I did not find any in the shops.
Activate the Varia feature on your suit to protect yourself from heat
In
damage.
Guarnia. Oh, am I authorized to use Varia suit now? Now that I've gone through like 5 of these rooms, he's allowing me to use Varia suit. That's cool. But I didn't check all the chests in Guarnia or anything. I looked at the Prima guide and didn't see it listed in any of the chests, but, you know, that doesn't mean anything. Ooh. Do I need to use Ice Beam? I guess I need to use Ice Beam. Yeah, without the cloth armor, I literally couldn't sneak past, like, the first wolves outside of Guarnia. That's how bad it was. And then, I tried using the stealth potion, but I didn't realize when I was doing it. I realized it afterwards, but I didn't realize the first time when I did it, that, like, the stealth potion only applies to whichever one character you have, like, targeted at the time. We did not acquire the Varia suit. We always had the Varia suit. But we are now allowed to use it. Have you played this before, Ash? Or do you know anything about this game? No, but you know enough. That's for the best. Oh, I should be doing the overblast thing. I thought I was close enough to do it before, and I wasn't. Come on, I jumped that. Controls in this game are so terrible. Okay. I've never played it. It's definitely I don't know. I'm glad I'm playing it. But it's, I'm not that glad that I'm playing it. Alright, where was my save point? Can I get back there? Oh. Okay, apparently I'm standing in lava. I guess I can. It's fine. There are millennial autosaves-ish. Oh, maybe I can. Maybe that's the save point. I don't know where I'm actually supposed to be going. But yeah, so challenges are going to be like, with the Aiden Chronicles thing is, you know, will stealth potions get me by? I was planning on selling the stealth potions because obviously if I'm not getting Godric, I'm not going to be able to make Dex and Strength potions for Kitterak, so I'm going to have to buy them and have enough money to buy them. And probably defense potions too, to make it reliable. I am going to need a couple of stupidity scrolls, probably at least one, after the fight, because I can use it to teach it to Retta for ogres if I take her, and if she stays alive. What about, like, when do I get dragon leather, or can I get dragon leather? It's another question. Herbs are going to be an issue for reagents, for spell reagents. All the spells I take cost herbs. I doubt I'll get enough drops, so I'll need to get money to buy herbs at some point. Question is, do I need or can I skip Trahern's Sword if I don't get Godric? It's like a minute and a half out of the way to get. But like, having a lesser sword for Kitterak makes that fight even worse. Am I fine with none of the defensive gear? Am I fine with no light wand? Alright, that's back where I was. Where does my map say to go? Okay. Let's go back and save real quick. The save point's right here.
Data recording. Restoration sequence activated. Sequence complete. Process successful.
But yeah, I don't know. My ideas are anywhere from between 3 and 7 minutes of time, potential time save. But probably closer to 3 is probably more likely than closer to 7. And how reset heavy is it going to make the run in order to do that? So it turns out Aiden Chronicles not really a run that I want to reset over and over for. Not that I'm against, like, playing more aggressively or doing strats that might reset, but like, if I reset half my runs on Kitterak, okay, I can accept that. If I'm resetting like 4 times to get past them once, that's probably too much. Man, this sucks. I don't even get rewarded for beating the boss. I get rewarded for finding the boss. And my reward is being allowed to use my items that I already have. Don't think it's at heavy reset levels yet. I mean, it depends what the goal is, right? Like, yeah, there's certainly time to be saved.
Continue your investigation of that sector.
without heavy resets. But I don't want to grind the current route as it is for, 2 or 3 minutes of time save. I mean, maybe there's more than that, but if I have the opportunity to say, oh, here's 3 minutes of time save, or reset a few times and here's 10 minutes of time save, I'd rather find the more aggressive route. Because the route right now is just very safe. It's very much like a can do no reset runs at any time. Well, like at some point it should get more aggressive. Where is this item? Up there? But yeah, it's more about like, I either want to do something more aggressive and interesting, or I want to play a different game. And I'm leaning towards playing more DQ, but if I have ideas for something that might be interesting, we'll see. I at least want to walk through the route with some ideas, time some things, see how reliable things like Kidorak are, and kind of go from there before I decide on anything.
Data recording. Restoration sequence activated.
Right. Still just continuing along this sector.
Sequence complete. Process successful.
Can you authorize me to use my grapple beam yet? If I stand here long enough, will you let me do it? Sure did. Means I need to get off my butt and actually, nice. Actually commission some. I need to find somebody to commission emotes from.
Okay, Samus. Head to Sector 2. There's a high probability of survivors hiding there. We'll have to take care of that freak of nature later.
Data recording.
Yeah, I need to convert my zap into an animated zap. I might screw around with a couple of emote ideas that I had to see if I can do anything for myself. But I will probably just get some commissioned. I just need to find like an artist that I need to just like talk to people. I'm fine with paying for them. I just need ideas and find someone to ask. Yeah, 4 new slots. How's it going, Eric? You missed it earlier. There was a big scene where I was walking towards a very obvious volcano. I'm inside the thing that looked like a volcano now, even though this is not at all a volcano. But I was walking on a platform, like on a bridge, with just a big volcano at the end of the tunnel. And I thought of you. This guy is blocking way more of my shots than the last one of these I fought did. Fossil this thing on your desk. Man, with enemies not dropping anything in this game, there is so little reason to kill stuff unless you think you can't get past it.
This elevator is bound for the main sector.
Alright, Sector 2.
This elevator is bound for Sector 2. A level 4 warning is now in effect.
Oh no, not a
Sector
level 4
2.
warning.
An irregularity in the climate control systems of Sector 2 has been confirmed. Please be sure to wear protective equipment and use extreme care when moving around this floor.
OSHA's gonna get mad if you don't wear your PPE. The voice acting in this game is incredibly atrocious. Samus isn't any better.
Data recording and restoration sequence activated.
Samus and I don't care, yeah. Whatever they used to sedate the twin snakes cast. There was, and then Samus was talking about it. The baby cry. The universal symbol for a distress call. I should investigate. The baby. I might have been too emotional there. Oh, there was a door up there, wasn't there? Or is there not? Nope, the door's behind ice. Okay, never mind. good thing to know that these monsters that live in Iceland are easily frozen to the ground. I guess the game does give you a reason in some rooms. In some rooms it'll reveal hidden items. You kill all the enemies. Oh, that was actually a projectile coming at me. Probably should have realized that one. Guess I can't land on that thing. Guess we're going inside the freezing water, but the freezing water isn't hurting us, so that's cool. But of course, I'm not allowed to turn on my gravity suit. That I probably already have. It's fine though. I got an extra missile. One missile. Why did they think that was a good idea? There's a lot about this game that why did they think it was a good idea. Do you know what the control scheme is? I've explained it a couple times. I'll do it again once I'm out of this water. Here's a question. Does anybody know? This game came after Prime 3, right? Okay. Let me get to a room that has some semblance of safety. Show the controls again. Because, oh my god, they're... Why didn't they just use the Prime controls? Sure, I know it wasn't retro, but, like, my point is there were Wii games that were good already. That played well. That automated movement just ran me through the enemy. That's cool. Oh hey, it's one of these dudes. Oops, I hit the map button on accident. Okay. I guess I'm just gonna kill you with charge beam. Oh, you're not dead. I just couldn't lock onto you when you were down like that. So I needed the final blow thing. Lethal blow, whatever it's called. item somewhere. Okay. Control scheme. White balance is going to be off, so it's going to be hard to focus on. You normally play with the controller like this. Sideways. D-pad, despite the fact that you're moving in multiple dimensions, D-pad, jump and shoot, with A to B morph. Right? If you point it towards the sensor bar, I can't show it without moving it down below, so I can actually see it. If you point it, you go into first-person mode. And you can aim around. And then, if you tilt it upwards, like this, and press A and hold A, you refill your missiles. And your health a little bit if you're really low on health. So you're moving the grip from this to this to this to do various things. Instead of just using the joystick with buttons on it. That could let you move in more than 8 directions. Metroid Soccer, I do not. Does not at all sound familiar. Oh, it's fine. We've got this twisty ice path. That makes it all better. Suddenly, this game is great. Did I even end up anywhere new? There was Metroid Prime Hunters also. I think that got also terrible reviews. And I also know nothing about that. Did I miss something like when I fell off the end here? There's an item that it shows around here somewhere. You're probably the only person I've heard say good things about Hunters, but I guess to be fair, I haven't heard many people say anything about Hunters, because I'm not sure anyone actually played it. Can I, like, jump off here? Oh, I guess I can't. Came with the DS, wow. I want that. That's what I'm looking for, is that energy tank. And it looks like it's one of these tunnels that leads there, which makes me think that there's like an offshoot or something that I'm not noticing. But the minimap doesn't show on. But then there's here. And like the minimap is suddenly vague. Really, this doesn't seem to be anything, though. I want energy tank. Only 185,000 dislikes. Oof. How many of those were after people tried OOT on the Virtual Console and complained about it? Don't expect an answer, obviously. I'm just curious. I feel like people were not that negative when it was announced until people actually got a hold of it. Maybe there's like a lower platform I have to fall to. Instead of sliding down. I think there were other platforms here. Sure. I mean, I agree. I was also negative on it. But in general, I feel like the internet's reception was a lot worse once they realized how poor the N64 games were. Like how poor the quality of the ports were. That did not work. Okay, well, see ya, energy tank. Sure, we'll be back for you later. Nothing. Yeah, it's too high from there. There's a green icon off to my left, which looks like a door on the mini-map. Which is why maybe there's a chance we're back in this area. Yeah, GBA games in particular, I think, would do well. It requires a super missile. Will I be allowed to use it if I walk up here? No? You're not gonna magically tell me I'm allowed to use super missiles now? You raise the Wiimote in your hand, do you get to ask a question? No. You do not question Adam. I'm very confused. It's so dumb. It like even lets you charge stuff up, like as if you're gonna use a power bomb or super missile or something, and then just doesn't. Aren't even boiling the water yet. Oops. I want pasta. I had 2 peanut butter and jellies for dinner, and some beer. Which, like, don't get me wrong, peanut butter and jelly and beer are both good things. But... slightly disappointing dinner. I guess there's another one up here. Is this? No? I also have a very sore throat, which the beer probably doesn't help with, but I don't think anything really helps with it at the moment. I feel like I can barely talk. Oh, we got past it that time. I guess when it's not spitting ice out, you can just go past it. Or something. Whoa, that's not the direction we're supposed to face. Cool. I don't know what that enemy was even supposed to be. More of these goats. Is that a missile expansion over there? Sure is. Alright, let's actually kill these goats then so I can look around and see if I can get that missile expansion. It looks like it might be from the other side. This place is full of invisible walls, so kind of hard to tell. That's the missile expansion I'm looking at. This game is like, you're on a spaceship. So it's like, oh, you're on a spaceship with identical, super bland, cramped hallways, and every now and then we'll give you a room that looks a little different, but it's still actually just a cramped hallway with invisible walls everywhere because it's not real. I guess they make an attempt to give you different environments instead of like only the bland corridors, but it's not like entirely reassuring. Yeah, but like the problem is that they are bland gray spaceship corridors. Just nothing. They're all the exact same looking spaceship steel hull. There's a reason that, like, visual sci-fi stuff usually takes place on, like, planets or on, like, starfighters. Because it turns out that, like, spaceship interiors look kind of boring. I mean, at least Dread, like, isn't just full of these weird, dumb, invisible walls because it doesn't know what to do with it otherwise. I don't know. I prefer Dread to this. I do think Dread is, like, a little bit bland environmentally. I don't entirely disagree with that, but... Also, hello, SK. I don't understand. It says normal bomb. Oh, that time it let me up there. You weren't authorized to use that. I think Bic has given that authorization. Who, what? The gimmick of this game is that you have all your stuff, you're just not allowed to use any of it. You're not authorized to use any of it. What do I think of this so far? I think this game is a dumpster fire. But, like, it's also kind of fun at times. Like, there are aspects of it that are sort of fun. But... it's kind of trash. I think the environments aren't great. I think the control scheme is actually terrible. I think the voice acting is atrocious. When I always give my hot takes and say how voice acting makes games worse, this is going to be my new go-to example for that. I will say, like, the complaints I always hear about this game are people not liking the Samus baby motherly aspect stuff, and, like, the little bit of that there's actually been so far has not bothered me at all. But, like, I want to be a lone bounty hunter on an alien world looking at cool places. Instead, I'm on a gray spaceship taking military orders. This isn't Call of Duty in space, but it might as well be. Oh, you've been through 5 lava rooms, but now that there's a lava enemy coming up, you're allowed to use your Varia suit. Ooh. I'm dead, aren't I? What? What just happened?
What's going on? Respond!
I tried to jump, I didn't make it. Enemy slid into the ground, and then I got hit by the projectile that was behind me. What just happened? Snake. Sure. Let's not jump up into the thing. This game would be about 80% better if they had just used the Metroid Prime control scheme. Don't dive there. No, don't target that thing. Target the one that's in front of me. Well, I'm safe down here, so I guess I can just get health back for free. Did that thing just blow itself up again? What is... What is happening? Alright, dude. I'm down here, come get me. Electrify yourself, come on, you know you want to. I don't know what happened with the music. Samus just decides she doesn't want to grab the ledge. Ever. Can I not grab the ledge of these? What? That hit went right through the guy. This fight is terrible. He swagged through it, he sure did. Okay, now can I get this? Oh good, I got one missile. I'm so happy about that one missile. Hello? Oh, I can't do it when I'm in morph form, so it doesn't let me do it in there. Worse than the wall snakes. Okay, but Dread also gives you 10 packs. You see, this game only has the single packs, as far as I can tell. And enemies don't drop them. You have to...
Sequence complete. Process successful.
It's true. It does not mean that you have to enjoy 2 packs. Alright, I'll be back in just a moment. I'm gonna use the bathroom and get another drink ready. Because I'm going to need it. BRB. Why am I dressed for Christmas? It's mostly because I like this sweater. My mom got me the sweater, but it's a Star Wars sweater. And it looks really cool, and I like it a lot. And it's comfy, and it's like just the right amount of warm, where it's warmer than a t-shirt, but it's not as warm as like the hoodie that I've been wearing. So it's pretty comfy to wear like indoors. The highest it's been here lately has been like maybe 50-ish on the warmer days. Like maybe today was up to 50-ish. What is it right now? It's 45 here right now. But there have been mornings where it's been like in the mid-20s. So wait, so is this where I'm supposed to be going? Here? Yeah, it's been... It's been mostly like high 30s, low 40s here. But some nights get down below 30. Some mornings get up to high 40s. But This, like, looks ominous. Glowing green lines, or it looks like a tram or something. And it snowed here a few times. It hasn't stuck or anything, just flurries, but it's been 2 or 3 days where it snowed. Might have snowed yesterday, actually, now that I think about it.
The creature's corpse showed signs of what looked like Metroid predation, making my mind race. Metroids? Here?
Metroids?
Impossible.
Here? Impossible.
Metroids can't tolerate cold temperatures. They couldn't survive in this environment. Besides, they're extinct. The baby was the last of its kind.
The baby. Is it the 25th yet? No. Elden Ring is still not out. Having Siri voice in this. Oh, I need Seekers. Okay. Turns out Silent Hill voice acting was good. You know, that's true. Tomorrow is what? Okay. Wait, is this where I want to be going? I guess so. Oh yeah, I think isn't it the first 3? Aren't they dropping the first 3 episodes in the first day? And then it's going to 1 a week after that? Let's kill these things. I dodged that. No! Did not mean to hit jump there. I can't.
What's going on? Respond! Respond!
Oh, is that out and a disaster? Oh boy, that's unfortunate. I wasn't like super looking forward to that anyway. Cowboy Bebop was alright, but was never like my favorite, so. God, I'm in this hallway with this really dumb perspective with enemies that I can barely see. And controls that are not working. And enemies that are respawning, and controls that are still not working. Dodge! Please, just dodge. know, enemies that constantly respawn make a whole lot less sense when they don't drop stuff. What did that even do? It says normal missile, but my missile is not doing anything. I mean, I don't watch a ton of anime either, so I'm probably not the best one to ask, but I think the first anime I ever watched that got me into it was Trigun. No dash, just one word. I wouldn't be surprised if you've seen the main character, or heard of the main character, Vash the Stampede. A lot of, like, internet people back in the early 2000s liked making internet names based on his. Yeah, it's been forever since I've watched it too. Big collar guy. Yeah, that's exactly it. It depends on what you like. I say that, but I could just as easily point to, like, Pokemon and Cardcaptor Sakura, which I watched as a kid, which are very much like children's shows, as, like, things that also got me into anime, quote unquote. Not that I'm really into anime. Sailor Moon and stuff like that. I never got into Sailor Moon, but... seen all of Sailor Moon many times. Nice. I tried watching the, I've never watched the original. I tried watching, they, like, did a reboot of it a few years back. Yeah, that. I tried getting into that, and it was kind of boring. Maybe it was just too slow or something starting off, I don't know. But I just never got into it. Ah, yes. I have here a Notepad++ window open with one of the tabs saying anime I guess .txt with Ghost in the Shell standalone complex and Legend of Galactic Heroes from when Ash and I were talking about this. Oh, I guess the thing's like not something I can run across. I haven't watched either of them yet, but I have a text file reminding me that they were recommended. But considering that I told Callie I'd watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I'm still like maybe 8 episodes into that after like a year, it might be a while. I don't think JoJo's is that long. Is it? A few seasons? I don't know if, like, from what I've seen of JoJo's, I don't know if that's, like, the kind of thing I would recommend to somebody who's, like, never watched anime and doesn't know if they like anime. These rooms are all so weird. For a while, they're probably still around, but for a while there were a fair number of animes coming out that were like took place as like an MMO in a video game. The classic example is Dot Hack. I love Dot Hack Sign. I don't know that it's one I would recommend to somebody, but then there's like a lot of newer ones like Sword Art Online and Hunter x Hunter and stuff like that, which are like they made games off of them also, yes. They made the set of 4 PS2 games, Infection, Outbreak, or Infection, Mutation, Outbreak, Quarantine, and then they made Dot Hack GU. It was another set of like 2 or 3 games. But it started off, I think, as like a manga and a show before it was a game, I think. Pretty sure the show came first. There might be a couple shows. But I like Dot Hack, but like I said, I don't think it's one that I would... It wouldn't be like a... necessarily like a go-to recommendation. What was in here? Oh, there's an item in here. Is the item up there? I don't know where this item is. I'm gonna come back in here for a second and look for that glowing blue spot. That might be an item. You know what I want to watch? And it's probably a bad idea. It's not an anime. But, so I read the Tor.com publishing website. There's a lot of stuff about like new books coming out and things like that, but they do blogs and they do like rereads and rewatches of various books and shows on there. And this one guy was recently doing a rewatch of Star Trek Voyager, and that's all done with now, but now he's moving on to Enterprise. And I've seen Voyager a bunch of times, and I like Voyager. But I've never really watched much of Enterprise, so part of me wants to watch Enterprise. Read some of it when he was doing TNG. Yeah, the TNG stuff is good too. I've read a little bit of the TNG rewatch stuff, but just bits and pieces, really. Certain episodes. He's also done TOS and DS9. TNG best. I'm definitely in like the Voyager is the best camp. Oh my god. But I was rewatching a fair amount of it during that rewatch, and Voyager was like, there was a lot about it that was not as good as I remembered. Some of the good stuff was still good, but yeah, my parents are like that, SK. My parents were all about DS9. My problem with DS9 is like, because it's a little bit more, I don't want to say story-driven, but it's a little bit more story-driven than like TNG. I always feel like I have to kind of watch it in order, and the first seasons of DS9 suck. First like 2 or 3 seasons are not good, and I cannot make it past there ever. And whenever I hear anybody talk about DS9, they're like, oh, it gets good once they get the Defiant. I'm like, I mean, okay, that's cool and all, but, like, have you tried just, like, watching a show that's actually just good? Why did I not jump off this ledge? Why am I stuck in this corner? What is this guy doing? Look at this! What a great video game. That's a good way to put it. Me too, SK. Random episode TNG. Series Voyager. There are a few episodes of of TNG, like the Inner Light, for example, that just like nothing is ever really going to be able to compete with. Anything with Flodder? Yeah. Voyager did have some of the worst filler. The Inner Light, yeah. Yeah, it's really great. You like Nemesis era? Nemesis I thought was like tolerable. My guilty pleasure, not really guilty, is Insurrection. I actually kind of liked Insurrection. Am I going to be authorized to use Speed Booster now?
The most efficient way through here should be delivering shoulder impacts with your speed booster, so I'm authorizing its use.
Oh, thanks for authorizing it. Cool. Press the D-pad in one direction and run for a while. Cool. Star Trek movie, First Contact. Is that even actually a question? Shine Spark. Press and hold 2 while speed boosting. Release D-pad and 2 to jump vertically. Secretly 4. I don't think 4 is better, but 4 is close. So I have to admit that 4 is the only original series movie that I've seen in its entirety. I guess I had to keep running through that door. I've seen bits and pieces of a couple of the other movies, but I've never watched any of the other original series movies in their entirety before. E-recovery tank. Oh, it like lets me recover up to another energy tank worth of health. That's kind of cool. I like that. Generations, huh? Oh man, I am not a Generations fan. Just don't think it's very good. Cute but bad. Man, I have too many Star Trek hot takes. I'm gonna get like ostracized if I say any of them. Oh no, I have no opinion on The Final Frontier. I like the Iron Maiden album, The Final Frontier. Does that count? Okay, my hot take is that I don't like Klingons. So anything that has Klingons in it, I'm immediately predisposed to disliking. Worf is okay. I mean, like, actual Klingons. Like, the Klingon culture, I guess. So, less human-y Klingons. We were expecting. Do I need a shine spark somewhere here? Is that what this is telling me? Oh, well, that's not what I expected. What is this? Oh god. It's horrifying. Oop. One of these days I'll get rid of these metal coasters. And my drinks will stop sticking to them. Alright, give me that E-tank part. Or full E-tank. This actually might be a full E-tank. It is. I'm still only one E-tank part away from another E-tank. That'll be really nice. Let's resave. Oh, the other exception to Klingons, it's because I guess because it's half Klingon, is I love B'Elanna Torres in Voyager. One of my favorite Voyager characters. She was awesome, but she was half Klingon. Very much not like the Klingon stereotype or anything. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Roxanne Dawson played her very well. What do? I don't know what this thing is supposed to be. Is there another button on this side? It's another one of these idiots. Do I need a shine spark or something? How long is this hallway? That's long enough. Oh, I can jump up that? Okay. I thought that looked like a spider ball track or something. I'm like, I'm not authorized to use spider ball. Okay. That went very high. What? Why did you not grab the... Oh. Is this actually the tech all along? Not authorized to progress. Feels like something this game would do. Has done. It's not authorized me to go into certain sectors, so... What's everyone's opinion on, like, the new Star Trek movies, like the reboots? I've only seen the first one. The first one I thought was decent. I didn't mind it. But it's the only, like I said, it's the only one I've seen. Hate them. First one was good. Fun but mindless. All fair. I see. I'm not really up on my Star Trek lore or continuity, so I don't really have strong opinions on that. But as somebody who likes Star Wars a lot more than Star Trek, I can certainly identify with the sentiment. Things Disney has done to Star Wars is also, yeah, not consistent with what has existed. Think you're done? Yeah. I can't be done. But most of my love from Star Wars is like the books and the books that were around, you know, way before Disney took over. And those aren't going away. Hey, we got our fourth energy part. I don't know, some of the new Disney Star Wars stuff has been okay, like Mandalorian. I still need to watch the second season of that. But I don't like that it feels like they're trying to, like, Marvelify Star Wars. Yeah, Rogue One was excellent, I agree. I even thought Solo was okay, even though I hated the casting for Han Solo himself. I thought, like, the movie itself was still okay. This guy is, like, sticking out of his tank. Got the attitude right? I don't know. He struck me as, like, not competent enough. Like, they got by on the bluster, but not the competent part. I don't know. Obi-Wan thing. They teased some of the Obi-Wan stuff. Just recently, like last week. But it was basically just like art. Like concept art and stuff like that. So, like, I don't know when it's actually happening. And I keep messing up the inputs for the Shine Spark. It's not entirely clear. Basically, they're doing like an Obi-Wan show mini-series thing. Like 8 episodes or something like that. Similar to Mandalorian at some point. But no one really knows when. It's going to have Ewan McGregor back. And I think they also said that Hayden Christensen is going to show up as Darth Vader in it. Which I know he gets a lot of hate, but I think it's fine. Yeah, that's my thought on it too. Okay, we didn't die to that goon. Those goons, I'm not sure if that was actually one of them or two. But we didn't die. But I'll take it regardless. Here's another Star Wars hot take, is that I think Episode 1 is like the best of the prequels, and also better than all of the sequels. Episode 1 is my 4th best main series, so if you don't count like Rogue One and Solo and the spin-offs and junk. He just had a stroke. I know.
Sequence complete. Process successful.
I don't know what the upcoming movies are supposed to be. I've heard a lot of stuff that's in the works, but I don't know what's... Like, there's going to be a Boba Fett series coming out. But I think that's another, like, HBO thing. There's the Obi-Wan stuff. There's... Cassian Andor, the guy from Rogue One. They're doing, like, a series on him, I think. I think there's something from Ahsoka, from the Clone Wars cartoon. Again, I think that's a series. There were rumors about, like, a Rogue Squadron or fighter pilot thing. I don't know if that was supposed to be a movie or what, but it either got delayed or canceled. So I don't really know, like, for movies, what's really up next. Yeah, 2 is bad, 3 is rushed. Pretty much agreed. I like certain parts of 2 a lot, but, like, the bad parts of 2 are awful. Three is the best prequel. Again, 3 has parts that I really like. But overall, I think 1 just has better pacing and feels more like Star Wars space opera. 3 feels a little bit more like action movie kind of thing at times. And I think episode 1 just feels like more Star Wars space opera. But the intro of episode 3 is like super great. Attacking the ship and fight with Count Dooku and all that. Count Dooku is easily like my favorite prequel character. I think he's awesome. I don't think they did enough with him. Music in 3. Imagine caring about music in movies and video games. Kidding, of course, but I could not tell you what the music in 3 or 1 or 2 sound like. Just no idea. Like, I care when I'm watching it, but Abraham Lionhearted. Very old CD box set. Huh. VHS trilogy. I don't think I have my VHS trilogy anymore. I think my parents had it and got rid of it when they moved. Where's this item? You know, I like the idea that, like, you kill the enemies and you get these blue glowing things on your map to show you where items are, but I feel like they only do it because they put the items in, like, impossible to find places. Like, I'm just not gonna look for this thing because it can't even tell where it is besides the blue dot. Maybe it's up here on this level. But I'm gonna get a cutscene, so I can't look for it.
Maurice.
Oh. Must be Madeline. I think my parents had it until they had all of it still until they moved to Arizona and had to clean a bunch of stuff out. I don't think they moved their VHSs with them. I think they, like, auctioned them off or something. Brought a bunch of random junk to a local auction place, and I'm guessing that most of the VHSs were included in that. Is this an Excel charge? Sure is. Let's see what this is. Huh. That looks cool. This feels like... Oh, that feels okay. I was gonna say, it felt laggy for a second, like every few steps Samus was stuttering. And in time with that, the Wii's disk drive was going like crazy loading into this area. Oh, must be going into a cutscene because it goes to this Gears of War camera.
I know why you're here.
Do you? Is this the nurse from Silent Hill? Kind of looks like her. What's her name? I don't remember her name.
No, you don't understand. I'm here to rescue you.
You're lying. I know the Galactic Federation wants to silence everyone who knows about our work here.
She looks too sciencey to be the head person. Must not be Madeline.
How can I trust you when your troops are willing to kill each other?
Kapow.
Stay away from me.
Nailed it. Next one.
Listen to me. We're here to rescue you. Hurry, this way!
Oh, she totally would have been smushed by that box.
Get out of here!
I think Error just fought this guy yesterday in Final Fantasy 13. Ah, that's true. No chain gear. Let's see. It's got a laser, a Vulcan cannon, and a railgun. Oh, now I've got a health bar. He just started playing this week, Tuesday. really is Metal Gear. Oh, do I need to shoot those things? Well, that didn't work. How can you see where to go? Oh, blind. Ah. Whoa. What? How did that recoil work? Oh. Reminds me of Halo 1? Really? I don't see that, but it's been a while since I played through all of Halo 1, so maybe I'm forgetting something. I did not fight that thing particularly well. Oh, is it not dead? Zero stars. Looks like a corn harvester. Yeah, you're not wrong about that either. That's the kind of thing I put in my spaceship cargo bays. I grow lots of corn in there.
The woman believed that the Galactic Federation was sent to the bottle ship to keep those in the know from leaking information about the project. And no wonder. She'd been attacked by someone wearing a Galactic Federation power suit, and she implied that Maurice was killed by another soldier. Considering the mortal danger we'd survived together, I had to agree with her. There was a traitor among us.
Samus, the wavelength of that monster's cry is driving the other creatures into a frenzy. They've grown markedly more aggressive. It appears to be hiding in Sector 3 now. Take the elevator ahead of you to the main sector. From there, head to Sector 3. If you run into that thing, hit it with your plasma beam. You've got to take it down.
So is my plasma beam authorized for use now, or no? I guess there's nothing over there, okay. Is this even where I want to go?
With those creatures, crafted into killers, running free, the bottle ship had been turned into a nightmare replica of Zebus. And then here came Adam and the others. At this rate, the plan the Federation wanted to keep so secret would be revealed. So they sent in an assassin. Someone to wipe out any survivors, as well as anyone who learned about the secret project. KG, James, Anthony, and Adam. Could one of them really be a traitor? Until I found out who it was, I decided to call the traitor the Deleter.
The Deleter?
On top of everything, I started to think about that woman. Was she the one who sent the distress signal? And could she be the person in charge here, Madeline Bergman? Either way, I knew I had to protect her. She would be targeted again. And she wasn't the only one in danger. I, too, would be considered a threat here.
I, too, would be considered a threat here. On a mission with Samus? So they didn't. Samus responded to a distress call on her own, and the Galactic Federation was already here. Samus was not part of the original plan, I don't think. Slightly better. Yeah, sounds about right. At least I feel like I'm actually making progress today.
Process successful.
I'll be back in a minute. I'm gonna just get up and stretch for a quick minute. And, grab like a monster or something like that. Instead of another beer. Yeah, be back in a minute. Full horror? Yeah, I think that could have worked. Not really my thing either, but I don't know. I think of some other games, like Doom 3 is a good example, where they, Doom 3 went, like, much more horror-themed than the previous Dooms, and that worked out. And this setup, like, on the ship with the Metroids and all this, reminds me, like, vaguely of Dead Space in concept. And I really like Dead Space, even though it's kind of like bland gray spaceship and Dead Space was really fun. Missile tank acquired. Yeah, I like 3 also. I can see why people wouldn't have liked 3 as much, but I liked it. I probably like 3 more than 2, actually. 2 is probably my least favorite of them. But I've only played each one once. I Maybe I replayed the first one once, but like, it's not a series I've replayed over and over. Oh look, there's another blue glowy dot that I can't see. Yeah, that's probably exactly the same for me. 132. Was I not supposed to shine spark onto that bottom part? Oh, hello. I don't even know if this is the way I'm supposed to go. But I assume so, because the game's been pretty good about blocking me out from anywhere I'm not supposed to go. That's a hole. So what I'm supposed to do is go up this way? Like, why am I here? Huh. Really want to go back through that. So I feel like it's probably a waste. But let's do it anyway. When I said that about not knowing why I'm here, whenever I say stuff like that, all I can think of is the very, very beginning of Red vs. Blue. Ever wonder why we're here? Hopefully somebody gets the reference. Oh, this is a different one to where I was. Yeah, I forget about it a lot too. Oh no, this is the same one. It's just different perspective. Okay. I don't know, man, but it keeps me up at night. No, I mean like here in this canyon. What was all that stuff about God? Yeah, exactly. I don't think I watched past the, like, 3rd season, maybe. Maybe 4? I don't remember. Yeah, exactly. The switch to the Halo 2. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess we're just not actually going this way yet. Oh, there's a missile tank there, though. It was still a funny show, like, even without having played Halo. I had never played Halo when I was watching it. I've since played some of the Halo games, but, like, I watched that before I played Halo. A bunch of friends would watch it, like, in high school and stuff. I think that was high school. You can totally pick up chicks with a tank. Or I thought this was an elevator at first, and I was going to be like, oh, this also looks like MGS. Can I do speed booster just from running in place? I guess not. There's an energy tank part. How do I get that? How do? Really the question is, how do I do anything here? I mean, maybe I don't. Maybe I do need to go that other way. Go back and save again real quick. Is this the save room? No. Data face recording.
Sequence complete. Process
Maybe that's a long enough run to like charge up speed booster. Can you not charge up speed booster on slopes? I guess not. Can't jump in the water. Alright, let's come back here. These idiots are going to be back, but I'm going to ignore them. Oh, I guess turning also breaks the Shine Spark charge. Makes sense. Or the speed booster charge up, I should say. That's... needs to be more centered. Look around, make sure there's nothing to like shoot and activate here. I don't see anything. This brings me back to here. Which is where I was. great, I can break those, but... why? Who cares? I can't run up the slope. Suppose I can try it again. Oh, it just immediately starts going into the slide. And if I do a distance shine spark, it's not gonna let me like get all the way up there and run, right? Or it's just not gonna shine spark at all. Nope, that's what I expected. Oh, I don't get it. I slide down the hill there, and I just do nothing over here. The music keeps getting loud for like 2 beats and then stopping. It's very weird. Like, these platforms look like they should all stick out like the one that I'm on now. Which... this isn't a switch, is it? This is like a piece of an energy tank up here. Can't really tell. I can't lock onto it though, like I normally can. Just scan it if it's an item. I feel like I've got to be missing something obvious, but I don't know what, and I don't even know which room obvious thing would be in. What weird music. Also weird is that you can't run off edges in this game. To like jump off of them. I really just don't get it. Like, unless I'm not supposed to go this way at all and I'm just supposed to backtrack here. But there was a scene when I took the elevator. Can I go back up this elevator? Yeah, let's turn around and go the other way. Maybe that's just a dead end. what the rooms look like on the way here to know if there's anything that'll wall me. Oh, just these positions of these crates could, though. Yeah, I might be stuck just because of that. Yep, I think down the elevator was correct. Okay. That's fine. It'd be more fine if I had any idea what to do down here. Hello?
Data recording. Sequence complete. Process successful.
I suppose there could be like a tiny morph ball hole somewhere that I'm missing. I thought I'd looked for those already. I guess I never took the hole that looked like it was going into ground level. Like it would be falling down in the other room. Asking if I'm allowed to use X-ray. What I want now is actually space jump. Give me space jump. And then I could do something with this room over here. The thing is, there was a pop-up in this room about shine sparking, which implies to me that it expects me to shine spark here and go this way, right? Like, but when I go up here, oh, I had to let go of the direction. It takes a long time running to charge up a spark in this. I get to here. I can see this where the missile expansion was. Nothing else on this platform. Let's kill these guys, which I haven't done before, but there's this. Now there was this hole here, which I have not fallen down. Let's kill these guys before doing anything else, though. That hurt. Okay. Pretty much what I expected to happen. There's this you can fall down. And that gets me up here. But if I jump down onto that slope, I just slide. Now it's possible I need to slide down into something. Like, is there a hole I need to slide into or something? Not impossible. But I don't see anything. It's where I came from, and I can get back up there. But getting back up here doesn't do anything. This is still the same. Same way I came from, right? Well, it is, except the things are off. Maybe it's not. I came back up here earlier and thought it was the same, but maybe it just looks very, very similar. And maybe it's not actually the same. Maybe this is what I've been doing wrong. Oh yeah, this looks different. Yeah, that was different, alright. I guess that was the answer. Odd, but... well, I say it was the answer. But I'm still just back here. Like, it got me an energy tank. But... it did not get me tangible progress. Which is what I really want right now, is progress. You have no power here, tangible progress. Well, we got that energy tank, so let's save. Oh. Maybe that was tangible progress. Just in the sense that you walk into a room and get an energy tank, and apparently that triggers progression?
Samus, you need a permeating shot effect to get past this. I'm authorizing you to unlock your wave beam.
Thanks. More than 4 enemies, I know.
Data recording. Sequence complete.
Alright, well I think I need to go back to the room I was just in where I got the energy tank. Because there was what looked like a charge switch on the other side of 2 layers of glass. Now loading, and my Wii sure makes sure I'm knowing it. It is loud. watch Picard. I still haven't. I want to, but it's on like Paramount Plus or whatever, which I don't have, and like haven't really had a good reason to decide to get. Well, these weren't lit up when I was just here a second ago. Yeah, I've thought about it. I need to, like, be in the right mood for it. Still need to watch Mando Season 2 and stuff like that, and I don't know. I know that they're doing a new season of Star Trek Discovery or whatever, which I've never watched, but I think the 4th season of that just started. So, like, I guess there's other stuff that I could watch on there. Enjoyed until the last episode, Disable any need for logic. Am I really, like, is this really a snowboarding level in my Metroid game? Gotta outrun the avalanche, thanks Crash Bandicoot. What? What? Where's SK's You're Dead emote? Oh, it's already triggered. Oh, it's not doing anything again. Save to after the trigger. Oh, yeah, but I thought you were posting it in, like, Cowie's chat or something one day. I'm misremembering that? Why can't Metroid snowboard? That's the real question. They added 4 emote slots, they added 4 emote slots to everybody, all affiliates, and also animated emote slots. Which means now I need to either, like, actually work on my own emotes or find somebody to do emotes that I can pay to do emotes. It's like, apparently missiles melt ice. Not really sure about that one, but there it is. There's the You're Dead. What? Why is it like bouncing me sideways here? This is so awkward. Can I? Oh, is that the gimmick? Do I need to freeze it? Man, Wave Beam feels like it tripled my damage output.
Data recording. Restoration sequence activated.
Yeah, but SK, you're never gonna stream again.
Sequence complete.
No, you do not know enough RPG speedruns to be Evil Ash. Sorry. That he did stream, that's true. You never will. But Aiden Chronicles is a good game. It's a game. It exists. Well, that didn't work, right? Oh my god. This guy moves so fast. I can't... Even when I dodge.
Samus, what's going on? Respond! Respond!
Oh, is it definitely happening now? Part of me wants to learn Nier. Now that I can play it on my Xbox One. Xbox One felt really similar to, like I did a couple of small comparisons with, like for load times compared to like your run the other day, Ash. And, and the Xbox One seemed very similar. I mean, or I could learn on PS3, but... God, that hurts so much. This guy is so fast. See ya. It just pieces out. And we're back to this room with Zoomers. Or Gamers? Whichever one these guys are. This looks like a thing. It's a power bomb door. Am I going to be allowed to use power bombs now? Spoiler alert, no. There's going to be a random dumb hole to morph into instead. That's the story of this game. Oh. Am I authorized to use this thing I have? Nah, there's just a random hole to walk into. Every time. I don't know what that did. I don't know if I want to know what that did. Did I just let the Metroids out? Yeah, but we haven't told him about the traitor, because what if he's the traitor? You know? What if Adam's the traitor, and now that we know that Adam's the traitor, he could be like, ha, you're not authorized to use anything anymore. You lose, Samus. And it's just game over. betray him back and powerbomb him? That's a good point. I was told that it lets out an extreme wave of heat that's deadly to human, even through metals and other objects. It's the reason he's not letting me use it. He's afraid for his life.
Data recording and restoration sequence activated. Sequence complete. Process successful.
Is this really where I want to go? Like, it must be, right? Maybe the animated one's not available on all channels yet. The email I got from Twitch made it sound like they were rolling out the functionalities in kind of like a staged way over the next week or so. So maybe it'll take a couple days to show up for some people. I don't want to save here, because what if this is the wrong way? Yeah, that's how mine is too, Ash. Alright, letting that sludge stuff out did not let me do anything back here. So this was the wrong call. I don't know what letting that sludge stuff out did then. Because the game doesn't make anything you do obvious. For as linear as this game is, it does a terrible job of telling you, like, giving you indications of where to go or what to do. Platform doesn't look great, sure doesn't. I already fought you guys, I don't want to fight you again. Just want to run through here, heal up, check the next room again, see if I missed anything there, go back through the same few rooms over and over again. Wait. Oh yeah, elevator room. Right. Yeah, I definitely have it. Animated mode 0-1. This elevator too, yep. We killed Metal Gear. Took the Metal Gear elevator. I don't know, one thing I might try doing for my emote slots is I've got some like screenshots of things that I want to like kind of get made into emotes. I might try like snipping them and like I've got a drawing app on my iPad, loading them up in that and like tracing over them so it's like hand drawn but trace so it looks maybe tolerable, and not actually directly screenshots from a game or whatever, and see if like that comes out acceptably. Oh, I was supposed to make these transparent so I could shoot the thing. I see. That's really dumb. Who puts a button behind 4 tanks that you have to shoot through? Like, the design of this place is nonsensical. Like, as a puzzle, I mean, I guess I get it, but like, from any kind of logical standpoint, the place is nonsense. Also, that's a really long hallway to just morph through. Alright. I don't know if I'm going to play for too much longer tonight.
This elevator is bound for the main sector.
What's true of every room in Dread? Let's go back to these rooms and see if I can, like... Do I really want to go back to these rooms? Didn't get any of the items. I'm running this stuff took. I mean, it's probably true of, like, a lot of Metroid levels in general. I don't really want to run all the way back there. No. Nope. We're not going to do it. Don't care enough. The difference, I think, though, is that, like... This game sets you up as, like... Oh, you're on a spaceship, right? Like, it gives you a more realistic environment
This elevator is bound
to associate
for
with.
Sector 2.
And then does dumb things with it. Compared to, like, Dread or Super Metroid or whatever, where, like, you're very much on an alien world, and you can accept some level of alienness that might not make sense to the world. I don't know. This game just feels like it doesn't want you to be in that sense of disbelief as much. Wait, was this not where we're supposed to go? Wrong sector. But then does dumb things with it.
This elevator is bound for the main
Gives you a more
sector.
realistic Samus with voice acting and a slightly more realistic setting. As realistic as spaceships are, like this. It's not like deal breaking or anything. It's just
This elevator is
when you
bound
give me an
for
environment that
Sector
looks like it should be
3.
logical, I try to
A
apply
level
logic to it.
4 warning is now in effect in Sector 3. An irregularity has been confirmed in the geothermal power plant and the experimental
I do admit
simulated
that there
desert
are
area. All
issues with
staff
Dread, though.
members are asked to please evacuate immediately.
Some of those issues with Dread. I just don't think that they're significant enough to make me like I still love Dread. I still think it's really fun. Yeah, but you can groove in NES Metroid, but you can't have fun. You can groove to 2 songs, but you can't actually have fun. Yeah. You know, it's weird. So, my reaction to that is that, you've played it a bunch of times, right? Like, that's definitely the kind of game that I could see being more fun the more you play it. And, on one hand, like, my favorite games are usually ones that, like, are better the second time. Which implies that, like, that should be something that I kind of like. Except, like, it still has to be fun the first time. At least a little bit. Usually. And Metroid 1 kind of just isn't. I don't think this is the right way. I think I'm going the completely wrong way. Well, I don't know. I don't know because the way I'm supposed to go is, like, blocked off.
Sequence complete.
Let me go back down here real quick and continue upwards and see where this brings me. I think this brings me to where the boss was. Kind of like Majora's Mask, right? Like Majora's Mask, I'd probably have more fun with it if I played it again than when I played it the first time. But since it wasn't fun the first time, I don't really want to play it a second time. Is the powerbomb wall? No. Did I go past that? Let's continue back up this way. Oh. This is the, was this the volcano area? At Error of Rudo. Volcano. Pyramid with a hole in the top. Well, I tried to Shine Spark, but it, like, just doesn't charge ever. Oh, another one of these guys, great. Because they were so fun the first 2 times I had to fight them. Maybe having wave helps. The thing is still there. Still closed. Yeah, for sure. You need to practice Nier, you need to play Dread, you need to play Aiden Chronicles. Can you believe all these games? Can I Shine Spark up to that? That would be a silly idea, but... Huh, I guess not. I guess this room's too big to shine... or not big enough to Shine Spark, and... I don't know what that switch I just pressed did, but hopefully it unlocked that door.
Data recording. Restoration sequence activated. Sequence complete. Process successful.
I'm debating if this is where I want to stop for the night. I'm at a save point. I'm kind of tired. Kind of want to play a little bit of SMT5 before I go to bed. Or just go to bed early. I don't know. My voice isn't super great still. I've been talking a lot the last few days. Kind of hurts. So Aiden, no, not playing that tonight. I think at the second boss of SMT5, and I haven't tried it yet, but I'm prepared to get owned by it. Playing on hard mode, as I said before. Also just like, this game is okay. Kind of only so much I want to play at a time. So yeah, I think I'm going to call it here. I might play more tomorrow, though. I don't think I have anything going on tomorrow night. Let me just save again.
Data recording.
How does that feel? Yeah.
Sequence complete. Process successful.
I don't think I have anything going on tomorrow, so maybe I'll play this after work. I'm tentatively working from home tomorrow, but I might go into the office because it's my friend Ashley's last day at my job. She's leaving like same time I am, basically. Her official last day, I think, is next Wednesday, but she has next week off. So I'll probably go in to say goodbye to her. And, so if I work from home in the afternoon, I'm more likely to stream. If I'm in the office for the end of the day, then I'm more likely to... Well, I'm less likely to stream. But, we'll see. To nap, yeah. Exactly. Anyone streaming? Ivekeen's doing DWR. MT5, SMT5. Oh, Tonic's doing a route run through of Dragon Warrior Monsters. That's cool. That's about it, though. Yeah. Anyway. Catch you guys later. Have a good one. Thanks for stopping by and watching. Making progress. This game's okay.